Did you know in the books, Rhaenyra was sabotaged by being married to Laenor Valyrion? Gyldayn writes, the best choice, king and small council finally agreed, would be Rhaenyra's cousin, Laenor Valyrion. Though the Great Council of 101 had ruled against his claim, the Valyrion boy remained a grandson of Prince Aemon Targaryen of hallowed memory, a great-grandson of the old king himself. Such a match would unite and strengthen the royal bloodline and regain the Iron Throne, the friendship of the Sea Snake with his powerful fleet. One objection was raised. Laenor Valyrion was now 19 years of age, yet had never shown any interest in women. Instead, he surrounded himself with handsome squires of his own age and was said to prefer their company. But Grand Maester Mellos dismissed this concern out of hand. "What of it?" he said. "I do not like the taste of fish, but when fish is served, I eat it." Thus was the match decided. This match on paper made sense, like Viserys marrying Laena. But in reality, the plan was obviously to straddle Rhaenyra with a husband that couldn't give her heirs, and thus she would either be childless or have extramarital affairs. Either outcome would hurt her succession. Gyldayn writes, King and council had neglected to consult the princess, however, and Rhaenyra proved to be very much her father's daughter, with her own notion about whom she wished to wed. The princess knew much and more about Laenor Valyrion, and had no wish to be his bride. "My half-brothers would be more to his taste," she told the queen. The princess always took care to refer to Queen Alicent's sons as half-brothers, never as brothers. Even Rhaenyra knew she was being set up to fail with a loveless marriage that might not produce any children. However, it looks as though Viserys can read the room. He has exiled Daemon for the second time. The Valyrian's boy and girl, Laenor and Laena, are getting older and primed to ride their dragons, Seasmoke and Vhagar. Viserys might be fearing that with only Rhaenyra's dragon against Corlys's 3 dragons, and Daemon unlikely to come to his brother's assistance, Viserys better give Corlys the Iron Throne than have it taken away from him and his daughter. Daemon and Laena could marry and ensure a 4-versus-1 in a dragon war. Gyldayn writes, "She was the blood of the dragon," she reminded him, "and meant for more than to live out her life as the wife of a common sellsword." And if he could set aside his Kingsguard vows, why would marriage vows mean any more to him? Mushroom tells a very different tale. In his version, it was Princess Rhaenyra who went to Sir Criston, not him to her. She found him alone in White Sword Tower, barred the door, and slipped off her cloak to reveal her nakedness underneath. "I saved my maidenhead for you," she told him. "Take it now as proof of my love. It will mean little and less to my betrothed, and perhaps when he learns that I am not chaste, he will refuse me." Yet, for all her beauty, her entreaties fell on deaf ears, for Sir Criston was a man of honor and true to his vows. Even when Rhaenyra used the art she had learned from her uncle Daemon, Cole could not be swayed. Now, Mushroom's account of what happened, unlike Eustace, has a logical through-line. In 112 AC, Rhaenyra asked Daemon to help her seduce Criston, who sees her as a child. Daemon, meanwhile, just wants to marry Rhaenyra so he can get back into the line of succession. So they come to an agreement. If they marry, she will be free to also be with Cole, who otherwise she could never be with because he is a Kingsguard knight, but if she has a polygamous marriage, Daemon will allow her to be with him. Then Rhaenyra tries to seduce Criston Cole. He immediately tells her father, and Daemon tells his brother to give Rhaenyra to him. Viserys refuses, exiles Daemon at Alicent's urging, and promotes Cole to Lord Commander for his silence, or to reward Cole for coming straight to him. Then Rhaenyra tries once more with Cole a year later, after he is no longer her sworn shield, since she has to go find him alone in White Sword Tower and disrobe, whereas if he was still her sworn shield, she could have disrobed for him again in her bedroom. but once again, he refuses her. This is why in the future he says Rhaenyra will turn the Red Keep into a because he has experienced it firsthand. To Cole, Rhaenyra really is the of Dragonstone, and the Greens are the defenders of the faith against the sexually perverse Rhaenyra, Daemon, Laena, and Lenore, or Black Dragons. Gildane writes, "Scorned and furious, the Princess Rhaenyra donned her cloak again and swept out into the night, where she chanced to encounter Sir Harwin Strong, returning from a night of revelry in the stews of the city. Breakbones had long desired the princess and lacked Sir Criston's scruples. It was he who took Rhaenyra's innocence, shedding her maiden's blood upon the sword of his manhood," according to Mushroom, who claims to have found them in bed at break of day. However it happened, whether the princess scorned the knight or he her, from that day forward the love that Sir Criston Cole had formerly borne for Rhaenyra Targaryen turned to loathing and disdain, and the man who had been the princess's constant companion and champion became the most bitter of her foes. So Cole didn't hate Rhaenyra for rejecting him. He hated her because she kept trying to sleep with him, and when he didn't, she engaged in lustful affairs with Harwin, Laenor, Karl, Daemon, and Laena. Meanwhile, Cole was a devout follower of the Seven. Cole supported Jaehaerys and Viserys because they followed the Seven, but Rhaenyra clearly doesn't. Jaehaerys became king by allying with Oldtown, and so did Viserys. But Rhaenyra has no intention of being told what to do by the faith. To Cole, the Dance of the Dragons was a spiritual, holy war for the soul of Westeros. Meaning, in a way, Criston Cole was the ideal knight, true to his vows, which in the world of George R.R. Martin, a relapsed Catholic means Cole would cause horrific amounts of death and destruction because his worldview is too black and white. I think originally George planned for Cole to be a spurned lover, like he is depicted by Ares Oakheart in A Feast for Crows, but like his original plan for Jaime, who in the original outline killed his children and made himself king, needed improvement. Cole, like Jaime, was too one-dimensional and boring. Cole being a true knight makes him infinitely more interesting than what the show gave us, because in the books, Cole has a point. Rhaenyra's children shouldn't inherit the Iron Throne. They are bastards. Westeros is a godly place, and Jaehaerys and Viserys knew this. Meanwhile, Daemon and Rhaenyra make a mockery of marriage vows and the laws of succession. So, really, Cole was just following his knightly vows to place a king on the Iron Throne who would respect the Seven above all else. Gildane writes, "Not long thereafter, Rhaenyra set sail for Driftmark on the Sea Snake, accompanied by her handmaids. Two of them, the daughters of the Hand and sisters to Sir Harwin. The Fool Mushroom and her new champion, none other than Breakbones himself. In 114 AC, Rhaenyra Targaryen, Princess of Dragonstone, took to husband Sir Laenor Velaryon, knighted a fortnight before the wedding, since it was deemed necessary the prince consort be a knight. The bride was 17 years old, the groom 20, and all agreed they made a handsome couple. The wedding was celebrated with 7 days of feasts and jousting, the greatest tourney in many a year. Amongst the competitors were Queen Alicent's siblings, 5 sworn brothers of the Kingsguard, Breakbones, and the groom's favourite, Sir Joffrey Lonmouth, known as the Knight of Kisses. When Rhaenyra bestowed her garter on Sir Harwin, her new husband laughed and gave one of his own to Sir Joffrey. Denied Rhaenyra's favour, Criston Cole turned to Queen Alicent instead. So, after Rhaenyra and Cole's falling out, Criston chose to join Alicent Hightower and her faction while they seemed to be pretty weak and desperate for members. Cole did this because to him, Rhaenyra was a harlot and he considers Laenor to be a p***. Gildane writes, Cole left Breakbones with a broken collarbone and a shattered elbow, prompting Mushroom to name him Broken Bones thereafter. But it was the Knight of Kisses who felt the fullest measure of his wrath. Cole's favourite weapon was the Morning Star, and the blows he rained down on Sir Laenor's champion cracked his helm and left him senseless in the mud. Borne bloody from the field, Sir Joffrey died without recovering consciousness 6 days later. This is so much better than what the show gave us, since in the show it made absolutely no sense why Criston wasn't executed after murdering the future king's best friend. However, here, in Amuelia, getting away with the murder makes so much more sense. Also, Cole choosing to wear Alicent's favour instead of Rhaenyra's would have made for great television, and killing Joffrey is a wordless acknowledgement that Cole believes Aegon is the rightful king of Westeros without ever needing to say it out loud. Gildane writes, Mushroom tells us that Sir Laenor spent every hour of those days at Joffrey's bedside and wept bitterly when the stranger claimed him. King Viserys was most wroth as well. A joyous celebration had become the occasion of grief and reclamation. It was said that Queen Alicent did not share his displeasure, however. Soon after, she asked that Sir Criston Cole be made her personal protector. The coolness between the king's wife and the king's daughter was plain for all to see. Even envoys from the free cities made note of it in letters sent back to Pentos, Braavos, and Old Volantis. Sir Laenor returned to Driftmark thereafter, leaving many to wonder if his marriage had ever been consummated. The princess remained at court, surrounded by her friends and admirers. Sir Criston Cole was not amongst them, having gone over entirely to the Queen's party, the Greens. But the massive and redoubtable Breakbones, or Broken Bones as Mushroom had it, filled his place, becoming the foremost of the Blacks, ever at Rhaenyra's side, at feast and ball and hunt. Her husband raised no objections. Sir Laenor preferred the comforts of high tide, where he soon found a new favourite in a household knight named Sir Carl Corey. So, Harwin has successfully infiltrated Rhaenyra's camp, the same way Lionel has infiltrated Viserys's, and Larrys will soon infiltrate Alicent. Maybe House Hightower's plan is to usurp House Targaryen as the dragon riders of Westeros, with dragons of their own. However, House Strong are true believers that all dragons need to be killed, no exception. So each member of House Strong will work to not only destroy House Targaryen's dragons, but also House Hightower's. Maybe even Lionel Strong's daughters are also part of this conspiracy as Rhaenyra's handmaids. Also, after killing Joffrey and proving that he is not a Rhaenyra loyalist still, Alicent requests Cole becomes her personal protector, since now she would trust him. Also, take note here that Harwin has a broken collarbone from the wedding because it will come up later when Rhaenyra gets pregnant. Anyway, subscribe for more.